What's up, guys? We're back on the Sierra today. It's been quite a while and quite a bit of progress since I did a video, mainly just because of weather and working by myself. So just a quick update. I replaced the fuel pressure regulator valve there, and I did order a proper sending unit for the truck to get the correct pump to make sure we were getting the right pressure. But with the pump that we had from before, which was out of an Explorer, I think, I adjusted the new pressure regulator with a pressure gauge, and it's putting out right around 60, which is what we want. And with a little bit of messing around last time I was working on it, I was able to get it to run, and we did the new crankshaft position sensor relearn process. It wasn't running too bad. It's still got one or two cylinders missing in it, but once we can get it running again here in mobile, we'll look at maybe just doing all brand new plugs. What started happening when I was running it last time is the fuel rail balance tube here started leaking pretty good. It was just damp when we first started, and then near the end of running at that time, it was pretty much a constant drip. So I've got a brand new OEM GM crossover tube here, so we're going to try and change that first, and then we will get the sucker running again and see if we can drive it around a bit. So there are two little screws that hold kind of like crowfoot clamps to hold the crossover tube into the plastic fuel rails, and they are T20 Torx. That's what the screw head is. Just looking at these ones, they were really quite rusty and shaly, so before I started recording, I just tried to crack each of them loose, and I was able to. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to get this crossover pipe swap done relatively easily. Actually, if I put this into ratchet mode, now, being that we're dealing with fuel injection here, especially on a gasoline, keeping the dirt and rust particles out of the fuel rail is very critical. I don't have any compressed air over here, unfortunately, but see if I can figure out a way to kind of blow all the dirt and rust out before we try and take the hose out. I have my little 12-volt air compressor that might do it. Key with something this old, especially if it's looking rusty, is to just take your time. If you twist the head out of it, you're done. If you break the head off, you're done. And especially with them being, pretty sure they're plastic fuel rails, so trying to drill out a metal screw out of a plastic fuel rail is going to be next to impossible without the drill bit wandering sideways. So these ones look really bad, but ultimately the screw underneath is still pretty much like new, so as long as you can crack the whole thing loose at once, you should be okay. So that's the two screws out. Alright, so I've got a little bigger T20 bit driver here and a ratchet, so we'll try and see if by chance this clamp will undo somewhat nicely. Assuming like 20 isn't quite big enough, let's see if 25 is a little better. I think that's proper size, so let's try 25. There's the little clamp, and again, the screw's not really in that bad a shape. It looks really bad from the outside. There's actually still some new metal under there. Alright, so now we should be able to remove the feed line without disturbing the return. now, bigger challenge is probably going to be getting it out from under these wire bundles there. I don't know. So, get my mouth up there, I guess. Can't get any compressed air out here, so. Let that move now. And that one's bigger. This truck should actually be imperial, I guess, but those bolts I just took out were metric, 10 millimeter. Should be. Better, I think. Not sure what else is stopping it here. Oh, that's all. Ah, yes, helps if we unbolt the rest of the fuel rail bracket first. This bracket right here bolted out the back. I forgot all about that, so we're gonna have to get that disconnected first before it'll come out for us. Looks like again, it's supposed to be imperial, so probably 5/16. Okay. Yep. Just like that. Yeah, as you can probably see, this whole end 4 inches of it is pretty much nothing but shale. And it was leaking pretty good through there. So we're going to put the new one on here. And should be no more leaks, assuming that the return pipe holds up. It's getting pretty rough too. But we'll start with this one. The return should be not too bad to replace without disturbing this one. I don't know for fact, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So, shine a flashlight, I guess. Doesn't look like we got too much dirt into the fuel rails. we did, like I mentioned, it's going to be big problems because most gasoline injection systems anyways, they won't tolerate any dirt or particles or anything going through the injectors and whatnot. It's not like a 12 valve Cummins where you can burn anything. There's an awful lot of rust inside there. I don't know if I can get it out though. That's pretty decent. Not going to be able to get much better than that, so I'll call it good. And so the new tube here came with some O-rings. I think I'm going to put them down in the hole first because there is still a bit of shale stuck to the plastic that will probably just tear the O-rings all to crap if I put them on the hose first, or on the tube first. So I'm just going to put a little bit of 10W30 engine oil on instead of gasoline on those O-rings because the gasoline is going to evaporate pretty quick, so I'm just going to put a little bit on each and maybe a little bit on the metal tube itself before I put it in, just to ensure that it's not going to grab the O-ring and try and tear it or anything. Trick now is going to be to get the new rail in there without getting dirt all over these ends that I put oil on and dirt all in the holes on the rail. So a little bit challenging. So new rail is in place on that one at least. This one hasn't gone quite in yet. There we go. Like so. Not too bad at all. Bolt for this bracket back here. I'm not going to tighten that fully until I get the clamps back on for the tube, in case that changes anything. And then now I can tighten up the mounting bracket back here. So looking at the return tube there as well, it's not looking very great, so chances are at some point we're going to have to do that one as well, which I'm hoping I can do without disturbing the big one, which looking at it now, it looks like we should be able to. So let's put the clamp back on the return to the feed here again. Again, you got to be careful with this. As I'm tightening that, it's torquing the whole tube assembly because the plastic is so flexible on the rail. So, put the feed line back on here, which may or may not stay now that this tube is nice and smooth and shiny and new, especially with 60 psi behind it. But we'll try it. I can always put a clamp on it if it's causing problems. So both clamps are done, the grounding bracket's done, the tube clamp is done, the hose is back on. So we got to put all this junk back together now still. Alright. Don't think I missed anything else. Don't have any parts left over is usually a good indication. Clamps on. Looks good. So let's get some fuel hooked up again here and give it a try. Yes. So let's see if this thing's gonna leak, I guess. Good so far. So let's grab the key and see if this thing will start up. The wires to the starter were all completely rusted and corroded away, as I'm sure I mentioned when I did the starter replacement portion. So the only way I can start it right now is to jumper the starter and hold the key on crank at the same time. So let's put the fuel pump back on, like so. See if I can quite possible it still has air in it. Whole new tube, emptied part of the rails. So I'm just going to crack the Schrader here and see if that helps any. There's lots of fuel there. I don't think I disturbed any other lines or anything. Well, there's that. That is the ground for the injectors on this side, and it's not connected. So it's never going to run with that like that.
So let's try that now. Still got a miss or two in it, but it's running. Absolutely no exhaust on it. Basically somebody cut the catalytic converters out, so it just kind of stops halfway back on the cab. So when I parked the last time I ran it, the transmission shift cable fell off of the transmission. The mount is just completely corroded and shelled away to nothing. So I gotta climb under there and see if I can hook it back on and make it work. So not too bad. It's just about out of fuel again, so I'm gonna have to go get some more gas. But it runs again and it drives. Got it in 4-wheel low right now. It's just a complete tank. Well, hope you guys liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. I will probably be doing some more with this truck in the future. The original plan was to cut it in half and build a box trailer out of the back because the box is in really good shape. And I think what I might do with the front is keep it all together and just put some kind of freewheeling wheels under the back of the cab, and then use this thing as like a little off-road slash trailer moving vehicle because it'll be super short. It's got the weight over the drive wheels, which is what you need for any kind of traction, and put some kind of a big hitch on the front, and then you can maneuver trailers and be able to see what you're doing. So yeah, we'll dig into that some more when we have time. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.